Coach.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, yep, I got you, Coach. How you doing? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me all right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Oh man, that's great, man. How you
What's
doing?
going on, man?
How you doing?
I'm I'm all right. I'm all right. My fault, man. It's I'm all a little screwed up over here. We just finished a Zoom meeting with one of our recruits. And I'm trying to get this NBA game on my computer right now too.
Yeah, I bet that's going on, man. You know we basketball junkies, man. I got mine going on in the TV in the background. Man, first of all, I want to say thanks, man. I appreciate
No doubt.
this help, man. And I figured you guys are not that far from us over there in Kalamazoo, so I was like, okay, well, let me reach.
No, man. I've been I've been down to Fort Wayne a couple times actually already.
Oh, that's good.
Because in Michigan. Yeah, in Michigan they weren't letting us have any AAU tournaments, so they just ran all those tournaments at Sport One over
That's
there.
going on.
Yeah, and then I actually was down there 2 weeks ago, maybe even a week now, at Cherubasco. Is that how you say it?
Yeah, Cherubusco. Yep.
Cherubasco. Yeah, I was looking over at Landon Jordan.
My
You know
man.
that name at all?
Yeah, I coached.
That's your man's.
I coached the Indy Heat
Oh,
Red 2022. So
okay. So
I've known
you
Landon for
know him.
quite a long time. I know all them guys on the red team. I know all them guys. So yeah, I know them really well. But
Good.
yeah, I see you just committed to Huntington, so they got a pretty good one for that. Yeah, that was a good pickup for them for sure.
Yeah, he was. They were. It's funny. They were in the. They were. I knew they had offered him already. We hadn't offered him yet, and they were in the gym when we were too, or when I went there and visited them. And I was like, "How's that? We're a little far behind. Can you see me okay, man? I can get a light if you want me
Oh
to."
man, no, I got you. I'm good, man. I'm good.
Okay.
I understand that. Yeah, everything's been pretty much the same. We've been the center of attention for Wayne because that's pretty much where all the basketball's been happening for the most part in the Midwest.
Yeah.
So that's cool, man. With that being said, I wanted to tell me a little bit about yourself, Matt. Like history, like I know you're over there now at the junior college. So yeah, go ahead and let me know, let the people know, because I really started. Let me first back up. Let me explain. Like,
Mhm.
so I'm Coach Jordan. I coach at Northrop High School, but I also coach with the Indy Heat program as well here in Fort Wayne. I've been with them probably about 10 years. I've been coaching high school for like 4. And my whole mission is to get kids to college. That's really my only purpose for really doing what I do is to get kids to college and see them succeed in life and put them in the best possible position. So,
Well,
for
good,
me,
man. Then you do a little bit better than some of these guys in the AAU that I run into. If it's
oh yeah, man, it's not.
You know what I mean? It's nice to be able to talk to somebody that's kind of like knows what to talk about. Like it's about the kids and it's about all this stuff. Like it's not like that with everybody. I'm sure
Oh
you
man,
know.
yeah, I know, man. Like me personally, I just pretty much know that it's. I tell the kids all the time, you don't have to worry about me chasing the big time college job, and there's nothing wrong with it. But that's not really what I'm trying to do. I'm really for
Yeah.
watching kids succeed and get to college and watch them just play. So that's a good thing for me, man. And I really started this series of coaches that I wanted to sit down and try to do Zoom meetings with to get information for kids because I think a lot of the kids don't have the information that they absolutely need. And that be lacking. Like a lot of kids don't know about, GPA requirements. They don't know about. They just know they play ball. They want to go to school, and I try to explain to them. They don't know about partial scholarships. They don't know about any of that stuff, man. So I'm
Yeah.
pretty much trying to interview as many coaches as I can to put together a series for some of my Northrop kids. I know if you've been there watching Landon, I know you've seen Kamani Smith too. He played on Landon's team. It's actually a
Mhm.
kid that plays at Northrop where I coach. So I
Okay.
just wanted to go through some of the processes for the junior colleges because it's become a real popular thing. I like a kid that we coached at Northrop City, Curry, who just got offered by Kansas and Ole Miss and all of them. He had to go to. Well, he's still in JUCO. He goes to Logan. So
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, Logan.
yeah,
Logan
big
knows what they're doing too, man.
with Big Sid, Kyle, and them down there. So it's just a series that I'm starting to try to get as much information out to some of the kids on my team, as well as some of the AAU kids to let them know and parents to let them know what you guys actually look for, what you guys actually see. So without me continuing to talk, I want you to explain a little bit about yourself, a little background info on yourself.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I played. So I came out of high school and I had a lot of Division III offers. I think I had a 2.9 coming out of high school, so nothing crazy, but I would have been eligible NCAA had I been, had I had that type of skill. But I ended up choosing to go JUCO out of high school too. So I went and played at a junior college and played for a really good guy, Carl Thomas, who's at Duquesne right now, over in the A10 in Pittsburgh. So I got lucky, man. He spent a couple years in JUCO and our paths ended up crossing. And that was kind of my big thing was wanting to get into coaching was through Carl Thomas. So he was really good for me. Just kind of he's a coach who demands toughness and everything. And so me and him matched up pretty well. Like that, because obviously I don't have the most skill in the world, but I knew how to play and I was a little tough. So so that was cool for me. From JUCO, I went and played NAI after that at Indiana University South Bend for 2 years.
Yeah, I know them.
Yeah, you know Scott
Absolutely.
Cooper over there at all?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
man.
No, I mean he's a good guy too. I like him. And so yeah, end up getting my degree from there and stuff. My first summer out of school, I went and worked all the summer camps at IMG Academy down in Florida. So that was just crazy just for me, because what you do is you're coaching with a bunch of other guys your age. So like the people that I've stayed close with are like grad assistants at Gardner Webb, this guy who worked at Butler, and he's at Coastal Carolina now. And I've got a guy who's at a big time JUCO in Florida as well. So it's like, that was cool just to meet all of them and kind of get your circle connected like that. But at the same time, like I'm out here running drills next to like Rashad Phillips and Brian Nash, and you know what I mean? Just like guys who know a lot more than I do. You know what I mean?
No question.
So that was super cool. And I live like 15 minutes from the ocean. So I can't forget about that either. But so that was super cool. Then I came back and I ended up moving to Kalamazoo to live with my girl. She went and got her master's at Western Michigan, which is the big D1 in Kalamazoo. And so I just called Coach Horn up and I was like, hey, I still got, I still want to keep coaching and everything like that. But I actually had played against him too. He won one and I won one. So neither of us really got bragging rights. But I called him up and he called Carl and, was asking about the scoop and everything. And to be honest with you, man, that's been really cool for me to work for a guy like Jim Horn is the coach for our head coach right now. And he knows I know what it takes and knows what the talent is like, because I played in the league. So he's given me a lot of freedom on like recruiting and stuff and going after guys that I like. And you know what I mean? Like the Zoom meeting we had tonight was with a guy that I found, and all he's seen is film on him. And he was like, you're sure about this kid? And I was like, yeah, like I'm sure. Like I've seen him play live enough. Like I know he could play. So
that's a great point. Not to cut you off, man, but that's a great point. How important is film? Like, a lot of kids, you can go to AAU tournament and see them one time and they got an amazing game, and then you see them kind of struggle. How important is film? Do you guys really go off film, or like obviously it's a little both, but what's your recruiting process like?
So I would say film. I mean, it's got to be the right kind of film too. Just before we even start talking about film, like please don't send me film with like the first 30 seconds, just like you warming up and like highlights and stuff like that. Like I'm not here for that. You know what I mean? I'm not here for your slow-mo layup and warm-ups. But no, Phil, we take film pretty seriously actually. We like to watch our guys film and stuff, but what we do is we don't really go a lot off film first. You know what I mean? Like we like to see guys live, and like if you're playing in competition live, and then we'll go back and we'll kind of check the film later and see, okay, what else can you do? Who else have you played against? What kind of stuff are you doing for your high school team? Because you kind of see a lot of that in film that you're not going to see in the AAU stuff. So we kind of like to identify guys first. We'll go check the film, check them out again, and then kind of make our list of favorites from there and work our way down that, trying to go after the top guys first. But my advice for you guys, for your high school guys, is definitely have film and have it showing a little bit of everything. I mean, do you have to put a free throw in there? It doesn't hurt, but it's not gonna. Nobody's giving you a scholarship offer based that you can shoot a free throw. But like, show me all the stuff you can do. Show me you can check up a little bit. Show me you can shoot the ball, and show me you can finish too. And if you got a couple nice passes and everything in there too, just if you're not going to be a shooter in college, don't give me a bunch of shooting videos, but show a little bit of everything so we know you're skilled.
So question, what's the first thing that will pop off the screen other than size, everybody
That's what I was
everybody
going to say.
everybody wants the size. That's obvious, but if a player, let's just say average player is 6'2" to 6'6", maybe, what would jump off a screen that you'd be like, okay, I need to go take a look at this kid in person?
Probably if you have one thing that you can do really well. So like if you're a point guard and like I go watch a whole game and nobody's taking the ball from you and you're making, and you can handle it really well, you can run the offense and stuff, then I can look at that and I can say, okay, he's got that down. He's got that for sure. If I'm watching a shooter and he goes, a lot of people will worry about in the AU, did you make it or not? But like for shooters, like college coaches, and I'm sure you can too, like can tell if you're a good shooter or not, even if you miss, you know what I mean? Even if you're missing. So, if you can shoot the ball really well, okay, I know you can do that. If you're a big guy and you rebound really well, okay, I know you can do that. And then what separates you from that is going to be your intangibles. But like, if I go watch you and you spent the whole game just driving by people and making the right decision when you got in the paint, like, then that's a skill too. You know what I mean? So the first thing you want to notice is what can this guy do for us day in and day out next year? You know what I mean? Because a lot of times the way coaches build teams, and obviously we don't have our pick and choose of the litter like some of these D1s where you can say, okay, we need this type of guy, and fill our roster out. But we still like to have a certain type of guy. Like I know our head coach likes really quick point guards that can score. He doesn't need a bunch of run the team guys. He likes his guards to be able to score. So if I go see a scoring guard and you can do other stuff, you can run the team or you can check other guards, then okay, then you start moving up the list because you can do stuff. But yeah, the whole all-around player thing is you better be a pretty solid all-around player because we're looking for certain things in the scouting report and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's good. So this year, Coach, this year's recruiting class, and I know it's been crazy with COVID, but this year's recruiting class, what are you guys like looking at? Do you guys plan for recruiting? Because that's a good question for me, and then I'm going to get into a little bit of the Juco side of it. But do you guys plan for because you guys only have like 2 years, right? So do you guys kind of get people that you need to fit a need right now? Like, what are you guys kind of looking for now or next year?
So that's a good question, actually. We really only will recruit like, seniors and stuff. Like we have our guys on our lists, that are juniors and stuff, but at our level, I know we pretty much just go after seniors, but what we look at is what we're losing. And then can we find a way to fit that or to fill that need, or are we losing this guy and we're okay kind of losing what he has? Let's get a different type of guy. So like, we're losing a super quick guard and we just offered a super quick guard that can score. We're losing a big man down in the post and we haven't really found anybody that we like to fill his exact role. So what we did is we went out and we got we're looking at a long lengthy shot blocker, and then we're also looking at kind of a bulky guy too, kind of guy who can take some space in the paint. So that's kind of what we look at is let's fill what we had from last year based off of how we did last year. If a lot of the teams in our conference were shutting down a certain type of player like we had a slow shooter on our team. Like he was a great shooter, but he wasn't fast enough to guard his size on defense. So what we found was the second time around in conference that got scouted out and they're picking on him. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like, okay, so now we know if we want to bring in a shooter, maybe we give up a little bit of that shooting so that he's a better defender. You know what I mean? So he can stay on the floor because, I mean, if they're going to go pick on you and have success like that on when you're playing defense, then it doesn't really matter how many points you're scoring, Yeah.
So talk to me a little bit about, number one, do you guys offer scholarships? And what's the criteria at the JUCO level? Like, is it a large, because I've heard everything from being a large turnover. But you guys are great. I was on your Twitter earlier and I seen 4 guys with 3.5s or better, man. That's impressive.
So that's by design too. I mean, a lot of JUCO guys will take chances on those guys who were non-qualifiers but super athletic. And as much as I like to recruit those guys, that competitor in me wants to win basketball games like that. As a program, we kind of do it where we want to bring in guys who are good academically. We'll give up a little bit of talent if you've got a little bit better grades. But yeah, so we offer scholarships, and it's different at every JUCO. So junior college has two divisions, Division I and Division II. Division I junior colleges can offer you a meal plan, housing, and academic money. We can only at Division II offer you academic money. And the way it works is when I was going to school at my JUCO, they did it based off credits. So the athletic director gave our head coach, she said, okay, you have X amount of credits that you're allowed to pay for on the basketball team. And then for the school that I'm at now, that I'm coaching at, we have a big pot of money. So we can give one player 50% of that money, whereas you couldn't do that because you only taking so many credits where I was going to school. So it's different at every level, but a lot of what you're going to get at the JUCO level is, hey, we're going to offer you this scholarship because we want you on the team, and we'll pay for a little bit of your stuff to come here, but we need to see what you're getting Pell Grant wise. So do the FAFSA. Please do the FAFSA. We need to see what you're getting Pell Grant wise. We need to see what you're doing, other scholarships and stuff wise. And then what we try to do is fill in some of those missing spots. If you've still got $500 or $600 left on your tuition, then we have enough in there where we can offer guys $500 or $600. Or, our full scholarships range anywhere from $1,000 to $1,200. And our credits, 12 credits, which is what it takes to be eligible, runs our guys about $1,250. So we can pretty much cover all of your school if you are, if you're an impact player like that, and if you live in town too. That's big also. But you're gonna have to come out of pocket for housing, and you're gonna have to have a little pocket of money for, obviously you got to buy groceries and stuff too. So, but we like to be real honest and upfront with those guys in that situation too. But, one thing for these guys to pay attention to also is the out of district and in district stuff too. You know what I mean? Like if you're looking at your JUCO that is in your hometown, your credits are going to be, the cost per credit hour is going to be pretty small. Whereas if you're trying to go to a place out of state, well, then that's going to seriously affect how much it's going to cost you to go to school there too. You know what I mean? And what we like to do is when we get our out-of-state guys, like we got a guy out of Chicago this year. He had to pay out-of-state tuition for his first semester, but once he got all signed in and got his lease signed for his apartment, I said, okay, go into this office in the school, change your address in here so that every semester after that you can get in-district tuition. And that's kind of one of those little things that is one of the little tricks of the trade, you know what I mean, to help our guys save a little bit of money. And I probably wouldn't want the school to know that so much, but at the end of the day, it's like you said, it's about helping the guys out.
Yeah, and I mean, that's big, man. Like I'll be telling kids all the time, it's not, when you talk to kids and sometimes you talk to their parents, they think it's as simple as, coach like me, I'm self on campus, give me a full ride, and I'm going to be set, and I'm going to be straight. And I'm like, I like that everywhere, especially I have a kid right now in Northrop who will possibly be considering JUCO next year. Pretty good athlete, really good athlete, 6'2", but like I was telling him and I was telling his mom, like, I want to get the information so that they can be aware of what's going on, so they can know how it really is. And so I definitely appreciate that. What would you say will be the biggest challenge coaching in JUCO compared to like obviously the D1s, the D2s, and the IAs?
Yeah.
What would be one of the biggest challenges?
So the biggest challenge, that's a good question too. I think the biggest challenge for us is one, it's not so much a challenge, but I think it's the most important thing is trying to bring in the right kids. You know what I mean? Bring in the type of kids that are going to fit for you. But the hardest part for us is that transition between high school and college. Like if you're living away from home and you don't got mom there to wake you up anymore, but you got a class at 8:30 in the morning, you better get yourself up out of bed. You know what I mean? Which always took me a minute to get used to too. You know what I mean? Like I was late to plenty of my 8 a.m.s my freshman year. You know what I mean? So it takes guys a little bit to get used to, and then staying up on their academics and stuff too. You know, like a lot of the teachers in college now will use like an online thing, like a Canvas or a Moodle or something like that, whatever they use. And you have to kind of know how to navigate that to really know what assignments are there, what's going on. So I would say academics are the first thing that gets guys. A lot of times at our level, guys come in and they can play right away. They might have to catch up on defense and the IQ stuff a little bit, but they can play right away and compete for starting spots. But if you don't make it past the second semester because you didn't know how to pass your grade or pass your classes, you're not doing too much for us. You know what I mean? So the biggest challenge for us is keeping everybody eligible going into the second semester.
What do you guys normally look for as far as like when the kids graduate? What schools usually come and pick a lot of your kids up? Do most of them move on, or some of them they just decide not to play? Or how does that usually work with Juco?
So a lot of it is going to be based on what you did. If you improved from high school to college, you know, they're going to want to see an improvement out of you because, I mean, you know, if I recruited you in 2018 and then I go see your Juco tape from 2020, I'm gonna, you know, I better notice a difference. And college coaches, you know what I mean? College coaches remember. So I remember what you were like. I remember playing against a kid that I recruited he was a class of 2018 and we played him in 2019. And I remember thinking like, man, okay, so this coach knows what he's doing, man, because this kid came in and he had some skills that I didn't see when I was recruiting him. You know what I mean? So college coaches look for that. And for the most part, yeah, we do a really good job actually of placing our players. We had all 4 of our guys had offers last year. 1 had Division II, 2 guys had NAI, and another guy went and played Division III. So we place our guys pretty well. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's up to the guys. You know what I mean? It's up to the guys. Go ahead, my fault.
No, it's all right, Coach. That brings me to my next point, because this is one that I scream at kids about, and I tell them, you know, everybody, I think, including myself coming out of high school, everybody has the Division I dream, obviously. But I tell kids all the time, there are kids at D3, D2, NAIA that will come into our high school gyms and they would average 50 points a game against them. And I just try to tell them it's a different level when you go to college in general. So speak a little bit about that. How is it at the JUCO level? How is it at, like you said, the NAIA level, the D2 level? Like you said, you were running camps with Rashard Phillips and them. So talk to me a little bit about and let these kids know that, you know, if you're blessed enough to get an offer or to get a college coach interested, that's a blessing in itself. I think it's something like 2% only go to college to play athletics anyway. So talk to me a little bit about the competition level and even your level, specifically since that's where you're coaching at.
No, I think ours is a guard. I think the best players in JUCO are usually guards. So we send a lot of guards to a higher level, and JUCO's kind of weird for that specific question because a lot of your best players in JUCO could have gone Division I, Division II. They could have gone anywhere on that spectrum, but they just didn't because they had bad grades. So it's like we get a little bit of everything. We'll play guys with D1 talent one game, and then we'll come out and the best player on the team we play next will be a Division III or an NAI guy. So you get a little bit of everything at JUCO in that sense. But no, I would put it to you like this. I mean, they're the 30 best Division II teams are going to be the 50 worst Division I teams. You know what I mean? Like there's a substantial overlay between good Division II versus bad Division I, or NAI and Division II. It's the same thing with that too. Division III, I'm not as familiar with the actual competition level, but I know that there's really good Division III teams out there that would kick our ass. You know what I mean? So, and then at the same time, I know that we could go out there and we could beat these Division III teams too. So, a lot of what it's going to be is you know, guys with all this new transfer stuff like that, guys who might have started out at one level or skills for one level and it wasn't the right fit for whatever reason, are going to drop down a level. So you're all these levels are going to have a little bit of a mix, and what's really going to separate you is what kind of fit it was. Like I tell guys all the time, I would rather go play at a good Division II than I would rather sit at a Division I.
Right.
You know what
right.
I mean? So, and I think that's the biggest part of it is really fit, and it's fit as a whole. It's fit as campus lifestyle. It's fit as type of teammates you're going to have. It's fit as what kind of academics, like what kind of degree are you going to get? What kind of teammates do you want to have, and do you want to be competitive or not? You know what I mean? Like if I get an offer to, let's say I'm good enough to play at this Division I level and then this Division II level, I could go play for a non-successful Division I team, or I could go play for a, like playing time at a non-successful D1 team or playing time at a successful D2. In my opinion, I think you're going to have a lot more fun at the Division II level if you're actually successful playing for championships and stuff. So I think the Division I mindset is good because that's where everybody wants to be. And we preach it a lot, being a Juco, is come here and get yourself to that level.
Right.
But so you should have a Division I mindset, but you shouldn't have a Division I or bust mindset. You know what I mean?
Big difference. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a big difference,
yeah.
man. I'll keep it short and simple. What do you feel like? So does the ACT, SAT play into JUCO, or is it just straight grades, or how does it work for you to, like, obviously be a non-qualified? I mean, I know. I just want to make sure everybody else is listening.
Yeah. So
yeah, go ahead, Coach.
No, I should let you finish, man. We just got off a Zoom meeting, man. I'm used to talking and into it. I feel bad cutting you off, but
no, go ahead.
No, so JUCO stuff, you could pretty much be eligible to play your first semester right away. We don't have any requirements and stuff like that. For the NAI level, you have to hit 2 out of 3 bullet points. So you got to have 2 out of 3, either a 2.0 GPA, I think it's a 970 on your SAT, or you got to be top 50% of your graduating class. Okay. So let's say you got a 2.1 and you only got 900 on the SAT. You better go to your counselor and say, hey, where do I rank at in my class to figure out if I'm eligible for NAI. And then for the Division I, Division II stuff, yeah, you better have your SAT scores. You better have that 2.3 and everything like that. So that plays a bigger factor in for those guys, but it also plays a factor for us when we're trying to send guys over to send guys up to those levels.
So when you're coming from JUCO though, and you're going to like a D1, D2 NAI, since obviously the SAT and ACT doesn't matter out of JUCO, is the GPA is the only thing they look at, or how does that work transitioning from JUCO to NAI? Or
Yeah. So the way it works, JUCO to NAIA, is you're going to have to, if you were eligible NAI out of high school, you're going to be eligible out of junior college. If you pass your classes at junior college, you'll be eligible NAI for 99% of the situations. And then so for Division I and II, let's say that you were a non-qualifier out of high school, somebody that had to go JUCO. Okay, well then you're going to have a little tougher time getting eligible at that level. First of all, you've got to get your degree from that JUCO. So you got to get your associates, which is tough for a lot of guys. You have to take some summer classes. You might have to take a couple transitional courses to get yourself up into this certain amount of credits and everything like that. But if you were a qualifier, so like me coming out of high school, I could have, had I had those offers, I could have played NCAA. I chose JUCO anyway. All I had to do was pass 12 credits every semester, 3 English or 6 English, 3 math, and 3 science. And then take 9 transferable credits in my last semester at JUCO, and I was good to go. So if you're a non-qualifier, if you didn't have the grades in high school, then you're gonna have to make a pretty quick turnaround. If you wanna go Division I or Division II, and to believe it or not, a lot of guys do it. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's guys just had to get out of a bad situation in whatever city they were from, and they had to get their heads on straight, or other guys see some of their AAU teammates going and playing, and they're saying, man, I was better than that guy. Let me just buckle down and get this classwork done. But yeah, I think of it as like a prove it system. You know what I mean? Like if we're going to let you into D1 and D2 as a junior and we weren't going to do it as a freshman, you better prove that you made some substantial improvements. So you kind of got to do a lot if you were a non-qualifier. But if you qualified out of high school, just get with your coach, make sure you're taking at least 12 credits, which you'll be doing to stay eligible, and then make sure you're taking the right ones in your last semester, and you'll be straight.
Man, that's great information, man. Like, oh man, like I had a question, now I can't think of it. And I know it was one that I talked to my players about earlier, so they wanted to know. So I guess for the JUCO situation, what's it like? That's what it was. What's a typical day like at Kalamazoo Valley?
Okay. Yeah. No, I like going over this with my recruits and stuff. Just kind of give them a look at it. So your typical week is, let's say you go to bed on Sunday night, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to wake up on Monday morning. You're going to have probably 2 classes on Monday. We'll call them Class A and Class B on Monday, right?
Mm-hmm.
You'll get out of that at maybe 2 o'clock in the afternoon, right?
Right.
Then what you're going to want to do is you're probably going to have a little bit of homework, right? We run our practice from 4 to 6. So you got class, let's say you got class from 9 to 11, and then from 1 to 3, Class A and B, and then you go and you practice for 2 hours, and then you pretty much got the night to yourself, right? I mean, we always stick around and guys want to get shots up or work on specific things, stuff. You can do that. That takes you to the next level, but that's your Monday. Your Tuesday, you're going to take Class C and Class D. Same type of thing, same as Monday. 4 o'clock, we'll probably get in the film room and watch that team we're going to play on Wednesday. And I don't know how you do it at your school, but film is a huge, way bigger part in college than it was for me in high school. You know, like we have scouting reports, and that stuff is important. Like you better know who your guard, you better know what he can do, because we're going to expect you to know that. So we'll get in the film room for a half hour, 45 minutes, go over scouting report, get out onto the court, go against their plays a little bit and stuff like that. Then you go to bed Tuesday night. Wednesday, you wake up, you go take classes A and B again, twice a week, right? The same ones you took on Monday. Wake up, take classes A and B. And then let's say we got an away game. We're hopping on the bus at 2:30, 3 o'clock, driving somewhere, going to get there at 5, anywhere between 5 and 6. Get dressed, get warmed up for the game at 7 or 7:30. Game's over at 9, 9:30. We might not get back from the bus until, back to school until midnight. And then the guys got to hop in their cars and go home. So you might not be getting to bed on game night until 12:30, 1 in the morning. Well, you got class on Thursday. You better get your ass up and go to class on Thursday morning. You know what I mean? And then Thursday we'll have practice, go over film from last night's game. At that point, we usually take a chance to, if we're already in the film room, we might as well check out the game we have on Saturday. So do that for 2 hours. Go to bed Thursday night, wake up Friday, and a lot of guys in college will have Friday off. Certain specific guys will maybe take lab classes and stuff on Friday, but for the most part, you got Friday off. Catch up on your homework, catch up on your sleep, hopefully, and then we'll practice 4 to 6. Saturday morning, wake up. Let's say we got a home game or something like that. Get to the gym around 10:30, 11 for your 1 o'clock game. Get ready to go play your game until 3:30, and then we like to give our guys Sunday off. So your weekend's pretty wide open, but you got to think during that whole week when you're going class, practice, class, film, practice, class, game, and then wake up the next morning, go to class again. During that whole time, you better be on top of your studies too. So it's not easy to be a college athlete by any means, but it does well for you when you get out, because I know employers actually really respect that, because it shows you can manage your time really well. So you better be ready. You better be ready to work. You better have all your ducks in a row, man. You better have your priorities right, because it's not for everybody.
Oh man, I tell kids all the time, it's a big level, it's a big difference. It ain't for everybody, that's for sure. You got to decide that early if you really want to do it. And I try to give kids a realistic view of what it's like. So that's why. Another reason, because they always look at me like I'm talking crazy. I'll be like, okay, well, I'll start showing you guys what it's really like by talking to the people in it. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I've seen it. I've seen everything from D1 to D3. So I've seen the practices. And I know what it's like. I know the schedules. Obviously, being with the Indy Heat, we know so many high level D1 guys. So it's like we tell them all the time, like it's really a job. It's like you have to really.
Well, yeah, I mean that I didn't even mention that stuff. I mean, I know the D1 guys. It's like, okay, you take that same schedule I just gave you, except you got to wake up at 7 a.m. 2 days a week because you got to get in and get your shots up. You know what I mean? You got to meet your coaches in the morning and go through a morning workout, then go to class, then go to practice. Like, you know, we don't have the ability to do that. But you know, that's a whole nother level to it, man. So these, like you're saying, it's exactly right, man. It's like a job.
Man, it really is, man. Well, man, I won't hold you up too much longer. I just appreciate your time, your honesty, your commitment, man. Real quick, if you want to give anybody out here information about the school, what you guys look forward to. Do you guys have anything, like say there's a player that wasn't able to play AAU, do you guys allow people on campus to work out? Like, how do you guys do that?
So the COVID stuff makes it weird. We actually can't have anybody visit till January. So that's why we had to do these Zoom things. But no, we run open gyms and stuff, and a lot of times we'll get local guys to come. But like if guys are willing to make an hour drive, I mean, you can come play open gym in the summer with us for sure. And that's a good way to look at it because you're going against our college guys who are playing in those open gyms too. So yeah, we'll do that in the summer and stuff. But man, I like to tell kids, man, even if you can't play you can't, you know, you don't got the time, or you play baseball, you got to work, or you can't pay for being on the team or whatever, man. If you can play in high school, man, and you're doing things the right way, coaches will find you, man. Some coach will find you. At least one coach will find you. And if you got a head coach like, you know, like you are right here, who's actually working for your kids actively, then man, if you can play, we'll find you. So just keep doing things the right way, man. Keep working hard. Keep improving and adding things to your game, man, and people will find you.
All right, Coach, man. Where can we find you guys? Like, obviously on Twitter, you got any handles you want to give out or anything like that? Just for the sport?
Yeah. So our team is at KVCC B-Ball. You just look up Kalamazoo Valley MBB. And then I'm at Coach Bullinger too. So I run both of those anyway. So if you follow one or the other, don't really matter to me. And then we have a recruiting questionnaire on our website too that you could reach out to and kind of put all your information in there and attach a highlight and stuff like that. You know, if I got guys coming from your high school, then obviously I'm going to take a look at them because I know you're doing stuff the right way. So if you think you've got a connection to Kalamazoo Valley, or if you think I know your head coach and you want me to take a look at you, but you don't want me to ask your head coach, yeah, we have something like that online too. So, but no, man, I appreciate you having me on here today, man. Appreciate what you're doing too. I mean, it's like I said, man, it's nice to run into guys who know the game, who know kind of the whole recruiting thing, and who are actively helping their guys out. And it's refreshing to see, you know.
Yeah, it's all about the kids, man. Tell people all the time, I have no agendas. Like, I really don't. I just want to get the information to the kids and train them and coach them, and hopefully, and I tell them all the time, like, my job as a coach in high school right now is to make sure you know the fundamentals and make sure I put you in front of the people that can see you. I can't play for you. I'll make sure I tell them I can't play for you, you know. So I tell a coach about you and they come see you. And that's the important thing too. Like, I tell kids all the time, like, I can put coaches in front of you and they'll see you. But if you're not good, it kind of ruins my credibility as well. So it's like, because time is valuable, you know, and that's very important. Time is valuable. So
it's like, you know, I went down and it's about an hour 45 for me to go to Cherubasco and watch that kid. And you know what I mean? If I'm going down there and man, you're gonna make me drive 3.5 hours both ways for this kid who you know can't play. You just want to get a college coach in your gym.
Right.
I ain't gonna be happy about that. I'm gonna be less likely to trust you on the next one. You know what I mean? So,
exactly. And you know, time is money. I understand it. So
it's the same way for us, man. If I'm gonna go talk to this D2 guy and say, hey man, I got this Juco guy you got to take a look at. Oh yeah, man, he'll be great for your program. And he goes in and flunks out his first semester. Well, shit, that makes me look really bad too. They're not calling me back anymore either. So.
Man. So once again, Matt, I appreciate you. Obviously, we follow each other. I will be watching you guys all year. Hopefully, you watch us. I'll be posting videos of our guys. That way, I don't waste anybody's time. I'll let you know what he is. I'll show it. I'll put it up. And if I inbox you, you just say, hey, Coach, that's not it. And I won't waste more of your time on it. But no, once again, Matt, I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Man, thank you. It's all love. Let's go watch this Heat game. Let's watch the Heat get a dub, man.
Absolutely, man.
I'm a big Heat fan all of a sudden.
All right. Well, they played the right way, so I understand it.
All right, man. Take it easy. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Peace.